Welcome everyone to Duel 101. It's time to use Dino-Swarms in this duel. I've used Dino-Rabbit 3 times before in my duels. Duel 31, 44, and one of the first 10. I don't remember that one. I haven't used Evil Swarms before. I do have pure Evil Swarm deck as well, but I decided to run the DinoSwarms version of the deck, although you don't really see too much of the dinos in this duel. Alright, my opponent is Doug Warrior 2 and is running some kind of warrior deck, which I suppose you don't see too often. Starts with Goblinberg and Rose, Warrior of Revenge, and then summons Colossal Fighter. Doesn't play anything else. There is the chance that there's Effect Veiler in his hand, but with Evil Swarms, this is just too tempting, so I had to go for it. Summon 2 Heliotropes, Evil Swarm Bahamut, steal it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And he doesn't have Veiler. Nope. And he is Spanish, I assume, because he spelled synchro the Spanish way, and he's gonna go right here, which is Spanish for what? And yeah, send Heliotrope to the graveyard. Got myself 2 strong monsters. And since Colossal Fighter gains 100 attack for every warrior in each graveyard, it's at 3,000. So that's 5,350 damage to my opponent on my first turn. I'd say that's pretty good. So for defensive Bahamut, I play Infestation Pandemic face down and a Solemn Warning. Would he be able to bring out something good? I was thinking maybe not to set Solemn Warning in case of heavy, but I'm like, the chance that he has heavy now, it's not that big, and otherwise I can probably stall for a turn and then use Torrential Tribute while dodging that with Evil Swarm Thunderbird. So let's see what he does here. He plays Monster Reborn. Now, what are his options? His options are Evil Swarm Heliotrope, Goblinberg, and Rose, Warrior of Revenge. Heliotrope is the strongest attack-wise, but he's not going to be able to beat me in attack, so the biggest chance would be Rose because it's a tuner, and otherwise just one of his warriors to maybe go into Excalibur because he might be able to use that. He doesn't realize that targeting for Monster Reborn is a cost, but I would say it's okay anyway, because I'm going to wait with Solemn Warning until after he synchros or Xyz summons, because I'm like, yeah, I could stop this, but then he has another monster in the field, and then I can't use Solemn Warning for something important later on. So I let him summon Rose, let him summon that, so I'm like, ooh, what is he going to do? He could go for a level 8 synchro, but he could also go for a rank 4 Xyz with the 1,000 attack power boost from Exosword, so a Blade Armor Ninja would be a great choice here with 3,200 attack and being able to attack twice. And if he attacks into Colossal Fighter, since it activates in his graveyard and it was destroyed by battle, he could just summon Colossal Fighter back to the field, attack, and then deal a lot of damage to me. Would I not have had Solemn Warning? Surprisingly, he doesn't synchro or Xyz into anything. So I'm like, he must have a good face down card then. What could he possibly be drawing me into? I really don't know. So I'm like, I have Infestation Pandemic to save myself. So I'm just going to make sure that I keep enough Evil Swarms on the field to, with Pandemic, beat him. So I just steal his Rose with Bahamut. Normal summon into Evil Swarm Korekion. And then use Korekion's effect to get Thunderbird back in my hand and then on the field. So that way I have 3 Evil Swarms on the field. So even if he has Mirror Force, I can still push for game with my 3 Evil Swarms. Bahamut, Korekion, and Thunderbird. What do you guys think? Leaving Rose and Exosword on the field like that, what is his face down card? I'm thinking now that he might have misclicked on end turn or something, but he didn't say anything about it, so I'm kind of surprised. But we continue. I attack his extra sword with Rose, dealing 600 battle damage and then 300 more for her effect. And then direct attack with Bahamut for game. He does play his face down card, only it's not what I expected. It's Scapegoat. I have Solemn Warning to stop that, and that's game. Thank you very much for the duel. You don't see Scapegoat too often, do you? Just for synchroing help, I guess, but yeah. I have something extra for you. Yes, and that extra thing that I'm talking about is not this screen, it's 3 screenshots, because it's actually quite a funny story. Like, I know there's quite a few Dutch Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, and a good amount of them are... Again? Go away. Happened in my last video, too. Anyway, there's a good amount of Dutch Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. And I know that a couple of people from my school, or people at least that used to go to my school, also play Yu-Gi-Oh! Played against one of them last year somewhere. I haven't heard from him since, on DN anyway. But today, while on admin duty, I was messaged by someone who said he's in the 4th year of my school. And I'm like, well, okay, let's duel. I have time. There's enough admins online to deal with the calls at the time. There weren't that many calls, and there were 3 other admins online. I'm like, okay, I'll duel for a bit. And I dueled him. He said his name was Jim. Later on, it was Florian. Jim was the guy I faced 3rd, because there were actually 3 Dutch people that I faced today, in a row. All, like... The 2 that I wasn't dueling at first watched the duel, and they watched when I was facing someone else. So the first guy was Florian, who was from my school. The 3rd guy was Jim, who was from my school. And I don't know either of them too well, but I know that they're from my school. And the 2nd guy, I'm not actually sure if he's from my school or not. All I know is that he's Dutch, and that he was watching from the beginning when I was facing Florian, so probably he's also from my school. So if you're watching, you know who you are. Tell me. Now I got screenshots from the ending of all 3 duels. You can't see the entirety of the screen to the left. I'm sorry for that, but I'm not gonna change my screen just so you can see the screenshots in its entirety. So I'm sorry for that you can't see the left side of the screenshot and you have to see somewhat white. But I don't want to switch the dimensions and do that. I don't feel like doing that. You can see what it's all about. I decided to use my level 2 vanilla deck against Warped Pine, which was Florian. And I had 5 watchers. I know the 2 guys that I played after this. 2 people that I don't remember who they are, don't really know them too well, and then Stardust1112, who I believe made a deck request earlier on my channel. I recognize that username anyway, but it was a good duel. What I was using his Nimble deck, but I had an awesome combo set up. Just needed to draw into a normal monster. He had 2 gotchis on the field, and let's see, what did I do? I drew into a normal monster. I had Tri-White to summon 3 normal monsters. Exceased 2 of them into the Daigusto Phoenix you see right now. And this was all when I just had Catastrophe on the field. So then I had Atlantean Marksman and Daigusto Phoenix. Then I played the League of Uniform Nomenclature, a trap card that lets me target a level 2 or below normal monster and summon as many monsters of the same name from my deck. I had Pikemen, so I summoned 2 more Pikemen. Overlaid the 2 pikemen into Gotchi, so that Daigusto Phoenix will be able to overcome his Gotchi, which at that point was without materials, thanks to Catastor. And then I played Faustian Bargain to send his special summon Gotchi to the graveyard. He couldn't stop that because it doesn't destroy, it just sends. I summon Clown Zombie, and I'm like, boom, 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 attack. I first had to destroy his monster by battle. Through a combo of his, he was able to play 3 new monsters, but I had 4 more monsters to attack. But I actually had 5 more attacks thanks to Daigusto Phoenix, and I was able to beat him. It was a fun duel. Thank you, Florian, for that one. Then secondly, I played, well, Leds. I'll just call him by his username. I don't know whether he's from my school or not. I don't know his real name. I went with my Zale weapon Utopia deck. I'd only used this once before, still in testing phases, but it's doing really well. I started with a decent hand, not too good. Then at one point, I played Instant Fusion, and he negated that with Brian because he knew I would be able to go into an Xyz summon, and he didn't want that to happen. But the card I drew into from Dark Bribe was Wind Up Shark, and I already had Wind Up Magician in my hand. So, like, that was really lucky on my part. And the fact that he negated my instant fusion, he negated the activation, that means that I could activate a new instant fusion. So I summoned my Wind Up Magician, which I already had in my hand, went Wind Up Shark, used Wind Up Magician to get another shark, then the two sharks went to level 5, overlaid into Leo arms, searched for Lightning Blade, got Carbonala Warrior out, overlaid with Wind Up Magician into Utopia, got Lightning Arms on Utopia and attacked. He had Dark Hole later, but both Leo Arms and Utopia survived that thanks to Lightning Blade's effects. Lightning Blade did get destroyed, but then he had Worm Yagon set and Worm Zex in attack position, but then I'm like, not gonna happen. I still had Leo Arms on the field, search for Tornado Bringer, put it on Utopia, put Leo Arms on Utopia, attacked Worm Zex, and I won the game. That was a fun duel. Thank you, Let's. And then finally was Jim, who said he was new to Dueling Network. I checked his account and he only made his account yesterday. Was running some kind of Spellcaster Toon deck. I'm really not sure what is. It's not really clear what the theme to his deck was. Kind of weird, and it was clear that he didn't really know how to play too properly yet. I was running my DinoSwarms like you saw in the duel. It was the same deck. He wanted me to go easy on him. I didn't push as hard. I'm like, I'm not gonna go too easy on him. I do wanna like give him a challenge, I suppose. But he didn't. He said he didn't draw well. Then he started making weird moves like Toon Table of Contents. I'm like, okay, you can play like activate 2 at a time to save time, I suppose. But then he drew a card and then returned it back to his deck. Search for Toon Gemini Elf, okay. But then sent Cyber Dragon to his grave, summoned High Priestess, and even asked me. If you can read Dutch, you can actually read it in the screenshot. He asked me to if I would let him win if he would show a picture of his inappropriate content. I decided to ignore that until the end of the duel. At one point, he just quit when I notified him of the fact that neither Cyber Dragon or High Priestess was a Toon monster, and he just quit. And well, the lurking was taken care of afterwards. Because even people from my school aren't allowed to lurk, unfortunately for Jim. But I had fun dueling all 3 of them, especially the first 2, because the third one wasn't really a proper duel. But thank you, Jim, and Florian, and Leds, whatever your real life name is. I had fun duels, like 3 Dutch guys in a row. It was a lot of fun. So if you want to duel later, possibly for a duel video even, who knows? Just find me on Dueling Network when I have time, and maybe you're lucky. Right, guys, I'm going to see you later. Bye-bye. Also, tomorrow, duel vlog. Pay attention, it's going to be important.